Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing really well. So today I wanted to jump right into my Halloween TBR because I'm so excited to start these books. And I know I'm not going to get to all of these. It's going to be impossible. It's absolutely impossible. But I did pick some books that are super short and some children's books and stuff like that. So I wanted to try to cram as much Halloween goodness into my reading as possible during October, but we all know that October is going to be super busy with events and movie watching and all of the things. So the other thing that I wanted to do for this TBR is I wanted to have the majority of the books revolve around actual Halloween, not just for it to be horror books that I could read any other time of the year. So when I was putting this list together, number one, I want to call it a pile of possibilities because I don't want to put any pressure on myself to read all of these books. Every booktuber that I've talked to over on Instagram or whatever has said that their TBR is massive and they're actually getting kind of overwhelmed. And so I'm like, don't put too much pressure on yourself. There's so much going on. We need a Halloween support group for people that get overly anxious. So I wanted to call this a pile of possibilities so I'm not putting any pressure on myself to get all of these read. And the other thing, like I said, I wanted to have the majority of these books revolve around actual Halloween, but of course I ended up with other books in this pile that don't revolve around the actual holiday, but they just look so good and I just wanted to pick them up. So I'm gonna go through all of the books that don't take place on actual Halloween but still have all of the spooky atmosphere that I wanted during this time of the year, and then we'll hop into the actual Halloween books themselves. So the first one that I picked is Bitten by R.L. Stine. So this is a bind-up of Dangerous Girls and the Taste of Night. So this is a vampire book. I missed out on Vamptember because I had already kind of had in my mind what I wanted to read. And I don't think I read any vampire books for September, but I've been really feeling it going into the Halloween season. I've been craving Buffy. I've been craving vampires. So I grabbed this one and threw it on the TBR. So like I said, this is a bind-up, so there's actually 2 books in here, and I actually don't have the vintage copies. I'm hoping to get them at some point, but I'm glad to have this one. So this is about twin sisters, and it says, twin sisters Destiny and Livy Weller return home from a summer vacation with a dark secret and an inhuman desire to drink blood. What have they become? Can they ever turn back? As their deadly secret becomes harder to keep, more questions arise and loyalties are tested. And as one sister descends into darkness, the other must find a way to save her and herself. Who will live to see the glow of the next full moon? Which sister will survive? So, like I said, that's all I wanted during Halloween, so I picked these up. I'm not sure if I'm going to try to sneak them in maybe to the last week of September because I want to jump into this TBR quite quickly, and I don't have any physical books on the go right now. All of my books that I'm reading are either audio or ebook, so I might pick this one up a little bit early. And the next 2 on the list actually came out of my Anthologies video. So I saw these and I was like, you know what? I want to read some of the stories out of these during Halloween season. So I've got Campfire Ghost Stories and The Scariest Stories You've Ever Heard Part 2. These contain some of my favorite short stories. And, you know, like I said in my Anthologies video, short stories are perfect for the Halloween season because there's just so much going on that you can sit down, read a nice short story, and there's no fluff, there's no filler, and you just get all the spooky vibes. So I wanted to pick the 2 of these up. This one especially is one of my favorites. So if you haven't watched my Anthologies Perfect for Halloween video, I'll have it linked down in the comments below and you can go watch it when you get a chance and maybe pick up some of these anthologies for yourself. They're really good. And then I wanted to pick up one of my Girl Talk books. Now, I had the Girl Talk game back in the day, but I never read any of the, no, that's a lie. I read one of the novelizations. It wasn't this one. So this is another one that takes place not during Halloween season, but It has, like, you know, the image of a campfire on the front, and it says The Ghost of Eagle Mountain. So this is number 6 in the Girl Talk series. So I was super excited. And one of the reasons why I picked this one as well is because it also takes place on a ski trip. So if I don't get to this one in October, maybe I'll save it for my wintry reads. So it says on the back, is there really a ghost on Eagle Mountain? Allison, Randy, Katie, and Sabrina are looking forward to the 7th grade ski trip to Eagle Mountain. But when strange things start to happen, Allison's convinced that a spirit is trying to contact them. So, like I said, even though this doesn't take place on Halloween, it has all of those wonderful feels that I wanted for this time of year. And I was craving a ghost story, you know, and a campfire and the whole thing, as you can probably see with the campfire ghost stories as well. So this was all of the feels that I was craving right now. So I threw this one on there as well. And then we have one of the Sweet Valley Twins Super Chillers. So one thing that I want to start doing pretty quickly here is picking up more of my vintage collections and reading through them. The Sweet Valley, Fear Street, Buffy, Christopher Pike, all of the wonderfulness, Babysitters Club, all of those. I've been craving picking these up lately. So the cover on this one is just wonderful. So I'm having trouble getting my camera to focus there. I'm hoping you guys can see that. So it does have a picture of a graveyard here in the background, and I was craving some of those really lighthearted children's sort of mysteries for this time of year. Didn't want to read anything too heavy because, like I said, this is such a busy month and I have so many events booked. If you watched my most recent video diary, I went through like my bucket list of things that we have planned. So my reading, I definitely didn't want anything too heavy and things that I could get through quickly, and they're great, you know, short little reads. So this one says, is Sweet Valley haunted? Strange things have been happening to Sam Sloan ever since he moved from San Francisco to Elizabeth and Jessica Wakefield's neighborhood in Sweet Valley. He can't figure out why everything in town looks so familiar, or why he's mysteriously drawn to a crumbling old mansion in town. When he visits a cemetery in the dead of night and sees a ghost who looks just like him, he turns to Elizabeth and Jessica for help. So I don't know, this sounds almost like a Nancy Drew where he's turning to the girls for help, and it seems like a wonderful mystery. So I can't remember any of the Super Chillers from when I was younger. I don't have a whole lot of memory of reading a ton of Sweet Valley when I was a kid. I know I read some of them and I enjoyed them. So this one I think is going to be perfect for this month. So that's all of the ones that, you know, don't actually revolve around actual Halloween. So that's kind of one part of my TBR, and the other part are books that actually take place during Halloween. So I had to start out with Autumn Crow. Again, I talked about this one in my Anthologies video. This is the perfect book for Halloween. So I kind of just want to sit down on a Sunday afternoon and read through this. I know the stories very well. My copy is actually getting quite bent up. And I might not read through all of the stories. There was 1 or 2 in here that weren't my favorites, but there's a couple that really were. So Burnt Brownies is one story in here that I adore, and Crypt TV is another one that I really enjoy. So definitely want to read through those ones and a couple of more. And like I said, it's perfect just to sit down with a cup of tea and a blanket on a Sunday afternoon. And if you haven't already, check out Autumn Crow High by Cameron Chaney. Book 1 in the series is out now. Fresh hell. So of course it's available on Amazon, so you can go over and check out Cameron's channel and his Instagram. He'll have all of the links there for you guys. So I have 2 point horror books here. There's actually one more. So I definitely wanted to read through Halloween Night and Halloween Night 2. I've had these on my shelves for quite a while. I haven't read these ones before, so I'm super excited to get to them. So I'm not going to go through any kind of synopsis for this one because it's a sequel, of course. But for the original Halloween Night book by R.L. Stine, it says, "This party is a killer. Brenda hates her cousin Haley. And Brenda isn't the only one, because Haley keeps stealing other people's boyfriends. So Brenda and her friends decide to plan the perfect murder. Something to go along with Brenda's perfect Halloween party. Not that they're really going to kill anybody. It's just a joke, right? Ha ha." So super excited about that. I mean, it has all of the Halloween feels and all of the vintage feels that I'm also looking for during this time of year. And the image on the back is just perfect. And maybe I'll actually carve a jack-o'-lantern that looks like that this year and stick a knife in them. So these ones definitely, like I said, I mean, you know, they're super short. They have all of the wonderful Halloween feels, and I know I'm going to enjoy them. And another Halloween themed point horror book, we have Trick or Treat. This one is by Richie Tankersley Cusick. And this book has been well loved. You can tell it's, you know, it's not in bad condition, but it's just been read over and over. And it says, "Dressed to kill. Martha knew there was something evil about the house that she moved into. It was so cold and creepy. And it wasn't just the house that was giving her a weird feeling. Martha was sure someone was following her, watching her every move." So that's all I wanted to know. I don't even want to read the rest of the synopsis, but even just the look of this house on the cover is just perfect. I love it. Obviously, we've got all of the haunted house feels in this one, and I know it's going to be good. It's going to be cheesy, and it's perfect for me to pick up. I mean, these little Fear Street and point horror books, you could probably get through in 1 or 2 days if you don't binge read them. So these are perfect for this season, I think. And then I picked up another Buffy book. So I read the first one in the Brown Books. Oh, it was during Old School April. So I read the first one a few months ago, and this one is Halloween Rain, and I learned that this particular novelization isn't based on any of the TV show episodes. So the first one, which is called The Harvest, actually corresponds to the first episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer show, but this one apparently does not, and that makes me super excited to read this. So it says, "Chaos reigns around Sunnydale. They say a scarecrow saturated with Halloween rain will come alive and slaughter anyone in sight. Lovely place, Sunnydale. Buffy's best friends, Xander and Willow, used to think the tale was nonsense, but after a few adventures with Buffy, they're not so sure. Even without a maniacal scarecrow, a Sunnydale Halloween is a truly horrific happening. There are enough zombies and vampires about, ready to party hardy and eat some brains, to keep the Slayer and her friends up all night." So the interesting kind of twist on this is, of course, because in the actual show, they say that Halloween is the one night of the year that the vampires and zombies and monsters and demons are not out and about because they think it's too kitschy. They think it's tacky. So this one is actually a spin on what's in the actual show. So super excited to read this one. And I have a funny story actually that happened yesterday. So I was talking about my Buffy collection with a coworker who I'm actually carpooling with right now back and forth to work. She drives a bigger vehicle than I do, so she hops a ride with me. We work the same hours, so it works out. She pays me for half the gas, and she saves a ton of money, so it works out for both of us, right? And so I was talking about BookTube and my Buffy book collection, and she was like, is there like a new show? And I was like, no, it's a vintage collection. Like, it's based on the original Buffy show. She's like, I didn't know there was a show. She was like, I watched the movie like in the early 90s. She was like, I had no idea they made a show.
You are one step away, Missy.
And I almost fell out of my chair. I almost drove off the road because I was like, how could you not know that there was a Buffy show? So now I'm dead set watching the entire series with her because I want her to experience it for the first time. So I just thought that was hilarious. So I have to take a little video of my Buffy collection and send it to her. And I'm hoping she'll watch it with me because that'll be a lot of fun. And then I have another Sweet Valley book. So this is out of the Sweet Valley High series, number 109, and it has a wonderful cover. So the synopsis doesn't actually say anything about Halloween, but I mean, it's obvious that some of this takes place on Halloween. So apparently Jessica Wakefield is now engaged, and she finds her partner in the arms of his ex-fiance, basically. So it's dramatic and it's all the things. So like I said, it doesn't have anything on the back about a Halloween party, but just the cover alone makes me think that obviously there's something that's going to happen during the season. So I wanted to pick this one up. This is not a super chiller or anything. It's just one of the regular Sweet Valley books, and this is the only one that's this high in the series, number 109, that I have in my collection. So I'm super excited to read this one, and my plan was to read Sweet Valley from the beginning, but I wanted to be thematic with them for this season. And then I picked up one of the Monster Street books. So this is The Halloweeners by J.H. Reynolds, and of course this has a fantastic cover, and I know this is going to be just spooky cute. So it says in the back here, Halloween isn't just Fisher's favorite holiday, it's his obsession. So when he's invited to join the Halloweeners, he couldn't be more thrilled. While trying to help them win the town's annual trick-or-treating competition, the Halloweeners stumble upon a mysterious cauldron at an old haunted house. After eating the irresistible candy inside it, Fisher's new friends are all transformed into the monsters of their costumes. So it's up to Fisher to help return his friends to their human forms by sunrise, or else they'll be doomed to be monsters forever. So this very much has like a Goosebumps haunted mask kind of feel, or actually talking about Buffy, the very first Buffy Halloween special that they did, of course they all turned into their costumes, and Buffy turned into like an 18th century aristocratic woman, so she wasn't the Slayer anymore, and all hell broke loose. So this sounds right up my alley. I haven't read this one yet. It's been on my shelves forever. I think I picked it up once and then moved on to something else, so I only read the first couple of pages, but I'm super excited about this one. And then the last two physical books that I have Goosebumps number 48, Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns. So I've been picking up a Goosebumps here and there. I did kind of a summer reads a couple of summers ago and picked up one of the Goosebumps, and it's been really fun rereading these. And on the back this one says, Pumpkin Power, nothing beats Halloween. It's Drew Brockman's favorite holiday, and this year will be awesome, much better than last year. Or the year Lee and Tabby played that joke, a nasty practical joke on Drew and her best friend Walker. Yes, this year Drew and Walker will have a plan for revenge, and it involves two scary pumpkin heads. But something's gone wrong, way wrong, because the pumpkin heads are a little too scary and a little too real, with strange hissing voices and flames shooting out of their faces. So I don't think I read this one when I was a kid. I can't remember anything about it. So I'm super excited to read this one. And of course it's a Goosebumps, it's super short. And what I love about this particular copy is it still has the collectible trading cards inside, and they're intact. And so I just love that I have this one for my collection. So finally picking it up. And then the last one that I have for my physical books, and this is another one that I'm going to sit down probably just in an afternoon, a weekend afternoon, and pick up. So this is one of the Babysitters' little sister books. This is number 66, Karen's Monsters by Anne M. Martin, of course. And it says, Monster on the loose. Karen's big stepbrother is building a monster for the Halloween parade. Karen thinks the monster is very scary. Then the monster disappears. Karen thinks he's come to life. Can Karen help Charlie find the monster in time for the parade? So obviously a children's book. It's going to be so cozy and creepy. I'm sure I'm going to love this, and I'm going to be smiling the whole way through, because I think when I was a kid I read all of the Babysitter's Little Sister books, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't remember anything about this one. So really excited to jump in here. So for my ebooks are ones that I wanted to pick up from my classic collections, but I didn't actually have physically. And the first one, I thought I had this one as part of my collection, but apparently I don't. And that is Fear Street Halloween Party. So I was super surprised when I was looking for books for this TBR, and I was looking for this one specifically, and I don't have it on my shelf. So I went ahead and downloaded the ebook so I could read it during this season, and I'll be on the hunt for a physical copy, of course, to add to my Fear Street shelf. So this one obviously takes place during a Halloween party. So there's a new girl in town who's an exchange student, and she's just moved to Fear Street. Nobody really knows her very well, but she decides to host a Halloween party. So of course the party is jumping and everybody's dressed up and excited for the season, and all of a sudden the lights go out, and when they come back on, there's a boy dead on the floor with a knife in his back. So at first everyone thinks this is a Halloween prank. you know, it's a joke, he's not really dead, but somebody is actually dead and there's a masked killer amongst, you know, the Fear Street kids. So this one has very much a Clue, you know, the board game Clue sort of theme to it. So I was super excited to download this one. I was glad that they did have it in audiobook. And again, I was super surprised I didn't have this on my shelf. I thought for sure I did. I was 100% sure. But I'll be on the hunt for this one because my Fear Street collection is starting to get pretty vast at this point. So there's not many that I don't have. So I'll be on the lookout for this one and I'll be excited to get it to add to my shelf. And then I have one that's on the way actually that I ordered this week, so I don't have it physically yet, but I did want to mention it here along with this one. So in ebook form, I have the Babysitters Club Mystery number 17. So the mystery books, I only have, I think, 4 or 5 maybe, and there's quite a few. So this one is Dawn and the Halloween Mystery, and it says, when Dawn witnesses a holdup and Stonywood's trick-or-treating is called off while the investigations are underway, she and the other members of the We Love Kids Club decide to catch the robbers themselves. So this sounds really good, and I remember, I can't remember which one I read when I was growing up, but I loved the Babysitters Club mysteries. And like I said, this is one that I haven't read before. I only have 4 or 5 in my collection, so I'm super, super excited to have this. And I was just as thrilled when they had this one as ebook for download as well. So I know this one's going to be a spooky good time, and it's going to be super short as well, so perfect for this season. And then the other physical one that I just found on Spooky Sellables Etsy shop, I'll have all of her information linked down below. She just happened to put this one up the other day and I was super excited about it. So this is the Babysitters Club Mysteries number 15, Christy and the Vampires. And it says, when a television movie begins filming in Stony Brook, Christy is hired to look after Derek Masters, child actor and friend of the club, who begins receiving threatening letters demanding he quit the project. So again, you know, it's going to be a cheesy good time. I'm super excited about it. I haven't read a Babysitters Club book in a few years. I did read one of the super specials, one of the summertime super specials, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and I had a lot of fun with it. It was a really good time, and I'm super excited to jump back into this world. It'll bring me right back to my childhood, and again, it's going to be a lot of Halloween fun. So there you guys go. That is my huge, I think what there's 18 or something books on this pile of possibilities for my October TBR. I'm not going to put any pressure on myself to read all of these, so when I do my October wrap up, I will let you guys know what I actually got to. And of course, I'm going to have my Halloween watch list coming up, and like I said before, I'm going to try to vlog a lot of our adventures and events and everything that we're going to be going to in the month of October as well. We have a lot of them planned, and so it's going to be a packed month and it's going to be so much fun. So thanks everyone for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a question or a comment down below because you know I love chatting with you guys. But until next time, stay spooky everybody. Bye.